Hello, Enhar here. Today, we will go over the news and developments in Club Penguin speedrunning for the month of February 2026. There's a variety of news to cover, so let's get started. The first news report is that in this month, we witnessed the return of a very legendary runner of this game. Doubleman, who once held the world record for 500 coins all the way back in 2016 and currently sits at 5th place in the leaderboard for the original game, made a return to speedrunning the game after over 9 years. This legendary comeback was at first in the Catching Waves freestyle high score category, as he climbed to the top with a score of 39,000 and then a score of 40,000, beating the run that I had submitted, which had a score of about 30,000. And besides running this category, Doubleman ran other ones, which I will cover in the next news. Next, while we are on the topic of high scores, this month, a new very skilled player who already had experience in the game officially joined the leaderboards for the first time. Before last month, a person named Wowie used to make posts on the subreddit for Club Penguin and claimed to hold the world record for Card Surfer's high score. With the creation of the high score leaderboards, however, they finally proved that fact with video and quickly snatched the first place run with a score of 78-23, beating the second place run by JGMC of 75-41. For reference, Wowie's runs were so good that when I was making the Card Surfer task, I had to remake it after I realized I was actually losing a frame per trick over him. So it is safe to say that Wowie's skills are a very welcome addition to the leaderboards. Also, you might realize that the penguin in the video is lime green. This is actually a reference to a very old 2007 high score video of Card Surfer. And on the topic of Card Surfer, on this month, a few new All Stamps categories were created, one of them being Card Surfer All Stamps. These categories are very new and not very competitive, but I will briefly mention them here. With the creation of the Card Surfer category, I submitted the first official attempt with a time of 2:16. Then we got to see Supermanover finally make his first official appearance on this year, as he beat my run 2 days later with a time of 2:14. But then it was Wowie's turn to attempt to optimize this run. Having already a lot of skill carried over from high score running, he was able to quickly optimize the category, bringing it down to a time of 2:09, and then further bringing it down to a time of 2:04, already beating Supermanover by over 10 seconds, which is quite the impressive feat for such a short category. Wowie believes that a run close to sub 2 is possible and had a few runs in pace, but this category is also quite RNG heavy and none of the runs converted. The time of 2:04 is the final we saw for this category this month, but it is possible we will be seeing an update soon. And besides Card Surfer, I will also briefly mention the Smoothie Smash All Stamps category. The first run submitted was by me, with a time of 15:26, a very unoptimized run that was to go down quickly. The very next day, a completely new runner showed up. Steven Gabriel beat the run with a time of 12:45, but unfortunate to our new runner, just a few hours later, JGMC submitted a run of a time of 10:46. This category is mostly just praying for good RNG and not messing things up, and JGMC managed fairly quickly to get a very solid run. For reference, the odds of getting RNG as good as this run are already lower than 5%. Moving on to the next topic, this month started right off the heels of a huge breakthrough in the PSA missions category. What followed on this month was just the beginning of the revolution of what the new time saves led to. Last month, I said that sub 20 on this category was likely going to happen fairly soon, and well, I really meant it. On the 1st of February, I managed to improve my previous time of 21:07 down to a 20:25, and then finally down to the first sub 20 with a time of 19:40. This is a pretty cool mark for all missions, but unfortunately or fortunately, it was too easy. We had way too many new time saves, which allowed the record to go from a 21:11 all the way to this. I am confident that we can probably go to a sub 19 in the future, and I do hope to see other runners trying this out. And for that, I have also compiled a video series, which is a complete guide of the PSA missions category, including the important new skips, and the link for that will be on the description. The new strats led, of course, to a revolution in the individual level boards. Already on this year, 10 out of the 11 previous individual mission records were beaten. Not only that, I also reclaimed the world record sweep for all individual mission records after beating the last of Emily Saylor's run. For context, Emily is an incredibly talented runner who might be known for having records in other games like Cluster Truck, SRB2, and recently Outlast, but in the Club Penguin speedrunning community, she was most known for getting insanely good times for Club Penguin Island. She has not touched much of regular Club Penguin, but the one time she did, she got 4 very solid times in individual mission records after only running for a few days, which is a pretty remarkable feat in the history of individual mission records. With the advent of the new strats, a few of those records were very easy to reclaim, namely Mission 1, 2, and 6, but there was one level in particular that she still had the record and that there have not been any new strats so far, which was Mission 4, but now that run 2 has finally been beaten this month. As of now, the last standing all missions record from last year is the Mission 3 record, which is a mission that had no new strats and it's also fairly RNG driven, so I was not able to beat it yet. Besides these records, we also got to see the comeback of Fall Hate, one of the original runners of this game, having done runs of all missions back when the game was still up in 2017, and later that year did runs in CPR when the leaderboards were revived, and held the record for a while. Ironically, this year, Fall Hate had established he wanted to make a comeback to the category before the new strats were even found, so with the new strats, it was time to hop on the gaming. So far, these were all the all mission developments of this month. This category still has so much potential, and I believe that it has gotten much more fun to run with all the new skips that have removed a lot of waiting and boring parts of the run. So I remind once again that the video guide will be on the description for anyone that may be willing to try it out. Moving on to the next big topic, this month we have seen the rise of a new genre of speedruns. Club Penguin is a very big game with a wide variety of minigames, and there are a few types of speedruns that are still relatively unexplored. One such type was the scavenger hunt categories. Last year, with Wall of Forever adding the Halloween Party 2010, the leaderboards welcomed the creation of the Candy Hunt for that party, a mostly point-and-click category consisting of picking up candy around the island. This category was originally inspired by Laurie D. Bunnykins, who did a similar run back in 2017 in CPR, and with the chance to finally officialize this run, the category was added and me and Supermanover did a run. This year, we got to see the rise of these categories as a few new players would come into the scene. Most importantly, a new player, Waterer, showed up and beat the Halloween Party 2010 record with a time of 19.4, which beat Supermanover by exactly 1 second. Here, he also proposed a new category, which is the Halloween Party 2007, and he did a run with a time of 51.2. Ever since the time that the Halloween 2010 category was created, a lot of new parties made it into Wall of Forever, so now there was a lot more possibilities for the scavenger hunt. So, buckle up and get ready because we are about to speedrun going through all the new records and categories that were added, and there is quite a big number since these categories are very short. With Water's runs, I also decided to run again as well. I had been kicked down to 3rd place in Halloween 2010, so I replied with a new record time of 18.7, which Water then replied with 2 new runs, first at 18.2, then a 17.4, getting the first sub 18. After a few days, I then replied back, first getting the record for the 2007 one with a time of 50.7, and then I also tried out a few new scavenger hunts, doing a run of the Easter Egg Hunt 2006, Easter Egg Hunt 2008, Sensei's Fire Scavenger Hunt, and the Instrument Hunt, the last one being a particularly very annoying run, which featured an item that was completely RNG, so I did not think that people would take this category very seriously. This in turn led to the creation of 4 more categories. Then, an astounding surprise, Doubleman submits a Halloween 2007 run with a time of 44 seconds, an incredible time reduction of about 6 seconds which confused me at first. But upon watching the run, Doubleman made use of a few very creative strats. He used an alt account to use a postcard which allowed him to teleport to some rooms, and then he also used a spy phone and had also an alternate route. This is quite impressive for such a simple category that just involves walking around, but unfortunately the rule set that we created doesn't allow all of those, so the run wasn't accepted, but Doubleman still had found a faster walking route, so later he still submitted a faster time of 50.1. Perhaps Doubleman's other run will at some point create a new category, but at the time being, this is how this category stands. On that day, I then lowered both Halloween Party records with a 49.7 for 2007 and 17.3 for 2010, barely beating Woodward in that category. And later Doubleman beat me back in 2007 with a time of 49.2. Over at the Instrument Hunt, Supermanover finally made a comeback to Scavenger Hunt categories and beat my 1 minute 9 seconds run with a time of just 47 seconds. This run featured way better RNG. Woodward then made another fierce comeback, getting the time of 17.2 in Halloween 2010 and a time of 47.6 in Halloween 2007. And later, he also claimed the record for the Instrument Hunt category after grinding for 5 hours and beating Supermanover's run by 1 second with a 46-second time. This category at first felt like it would just become another slot machine category, but then Doublemint actually came up with yet another time save to scavenger hunts. Just like how we started using tab for all missions, he found out a way to use it on scavenger hunts as well. I had actually theorized this to be possible earlier, but I was not able to do it initially due to it seemingly not being possible, but Doublemint found out that you can actually use it if you have safe chat on, which makes it so that you can type, and thus pressing tab doesn't focus on the typing box, but rather allows you to use tab normally. So now this became an actual strat, and using it, Doublemint was able to skip having to wait for the long animations for some of the items, which shortened the Halloween 2007 run, the 2006 egg hunt, and also completely removed the RNG of the instrument hunt. With this, Doublemint submitted a new record time in those categories, with a time of 49.2 for Halloween 2007, 24.4 for Easter egg 2006, which would be my 37-second time, and 18.9 for instrument hunt, making the instrument going from one of the longest to nearly the shortest of these scavenger hunt categories. On that day, Wadur also had a new fire hunt record with a time of 32 seconds and a new Easter egg 2008 record with a time of 34 seconds. Finally, Wadur then made his own runs using the new strat, securing the time of 16.2 for instrument hunt, making it officially the shortest scavenger hunt category, and then beat the 2007 Halloween record with a time of 46.1. He also did runs of a few new scavenger hunts, getting a 21-second time for the Recycle Hunt 2010 and 28 seconds for the Sensei's Water Scavenger Hunt. And lastly, I did some runs and finished them off by getting a record in Halloween 2010, Halloween 2007, Instrument Hunt, and Water Hunt. As you can see, February was very huge for the scavenger hunt categories, and just this month they went from being this forgotten corner of the category extensions to now having a respectable amount of runners, with also having one of the fastest category extensions to reach 5 runners in only a few days, which was the instrument hunt, which I ironically thought was going to become the least popular and most hated category. We have only begun to explore the tip of the iceberg when it comes to potential categories involving clubbing and parties. As Waddle Forever grows, we will likely be seeing more. But enough scavenger hunts, let us talk about something else. This month saw a small continuation of the grind for the Catching Waves records that we saw last month. Starting off, FKF continued playing Catching Waves all stamps. First, he improved the record for the tutorial category, getting a time of 46 seconds, making his 4th consecutive world record improvement without being beaten, and then he improved his own time of all stamps, getting the first ever sub 15 with a time of 14:57. This was definitely a very solid time and was around the ballpark that I originally estimated as a good time for this category. But this run also proved that there was still a lot of potential. FKF did not have great RNG and the tutorial segment could be improved. And speaking of tutorial, on that same day, I made a comeback to tutorial and beat FKF's run with a 45-second time. At this point, tutorial was starting to become rather optimized and we were starting to optimize a few things that were not obvious at first, but there was still room for improvement, so 3 days later, we get to see Super Maneuver making yet another comeback as he submits a PB after 4 years in his category, and also beat the record, achieving a time of 44 seconds. But Catching Waves did not stop there. A few days later, I then beat Super Maneuver back and improved the new record by 3 seconds with a time of 41 seconds. Tutorial is starting to become quite optimized and perhaps soon we will see a sub 40-second time in that category, as we attempt to uncover and understand better how this extremely weird mode works. But it is quite nice seeing this category getting the attention it deserves after all those years sitting at 107. And then, finally, after quite some grinding and one of the worst strokes of my speedrunning career, I eventually managed to snatch the Catching Waves all stamps record with a time of 14:48. What was even more interesting is that this run did not even feature a balanced judge in the last round of competition, which is quite a weird feat. And it also featured many devs, which in hindsight, I'm not all that sure that the devs actually lost time, but more research will need to be done. Needless to say, this category can definitely go even further down, and I'm now starting to wonder if the sub 14 time will ever happen. It will definitely take a very good run to achieve it, and this category is quite punishing as it has a fairly difficult session at the beginning, and the most RNG heavy part of the run is at the very end, so it is yet to be seen. The final news we will cover today goes to show that the month was fairly full of developments, but we got to see the continuation of last month's competition for 50 stamps, which ended with me getting a 629 at the end of the month. This month, however, Farizaku made his comeback after the end of his subathon. He took some time to rest and then returned to the grind and put quite some effort towards improving the run. After some grinding, however, he finally managed to update the record and got a time of 6:24, an improvement of about 5 seconds, getting ever so close to that sub 6 minutes. Huge congrats to him for this time. This category surely still has a lot of potential left, but it is getting quite optimized, and so the RNG is also getting quite important. I also wanted to highlight that this run was also dedicated to someone very special. Farizaku used the penguin name Chieming to play in this run, which was the name that his cousin used to play Club Penguin back in the days. Unfortunately, his cousin has passed away, and so he dedicated this world record in memory of him, a way to honor his name and the memories they've had. I thought this was a very beautiful homage, so I wanted to mention it here, so that I can send my own love towards Farizaku and his cousin, Hiago Martins, also known as GME. So, those were all the news for Club Penguin speedrunning in February. Before we end the video, I'd like to just shout out all the PBs. So, shoutouts to Steven Gabriel for the 1130 Smoothie Smash Survival High Score, 1245 Smoothie Smash All Stamps, and 2771 Hydra Hopper High Score and 57 Second Instrument Hunt. Life of Games 477 for the 42 Second Fire Scavenger Hunt. Doubleman for the 40,000 Catch Waves High Score, 42nd Halloween 2007 Hunt, 24-second Easter Egg Hunt 2006, and 18.9-second Instrument Hunt. Wowie for the 7823 Card Surfer High Score, and 204 Card Surfer All Stamps. Super Maneuver for the 1689 Hydra Hopper High Score, 646 Catch Wave Survival, 44-second Catch Waves Tutorial, 2014 Card Surfer All Stamps, and 47-second Instrument Hunt. JGMC32 for the 28,000 Smoothie Smash Normal High Score, and 1046 Smoothie Smash All Stamps. FKF for the 5305 Card Surfer High Score, 27,810 Smoothie Smash Normal High Score, 1110 Smoothie Smash Survival, 46-second Catch Waves Tutorial, 701 Catching Waves Competition, and 1457 Catching Waves All Stamps. Wadur for 6653 Hydra Hopper High Score, 17.2 second Halloween to 2010 Hunt, 30 second Easter Egg 2008 Hunt, 32 second Fire Scavenger Hunt, 16.2 second Instrument Hunt, 46.1 second Halloween 2007 Hunt, 21.4 Recycle Hunt, 28.6 Water Scavenger Hunt, 23.5 Easter Egg Hunt 2006, and 17.2 Adventure Hunt. And Farizaku for the 624 50 stamps. Thank you once again for watching yet another recap of Club Penguin speedrunning. Whether or not a recap for March will be done is yet to be decided, but until then, Enhar signing out.